Okay, hi guys. Sorry for these interruptions. We had some technical problems. Really sorry for that. Sometimes, yeah. Hi again. Sorry for that. We had some technical problems. Shan basically talking. Hello, Shan. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. You?
Perfect. Thank you for being here. Sorry, guys, again, we had some technical problems at start, but we are finally here. So yeah, again, we will be talking about love life of an Asian guy, and I thought that the best way to do that is just to invite a male friend of mine to ask all these questions, right? So let's do that.
Sounds good. So, how did you want it to start the format? By the way, I do apologize. I was a little bit behind. I have to take care of my store in a little bit. So, um, I'm just gonna have to order a coffee. It takes 1 second. But how did you want it to start the format? And did you want to start
You
with
know what?
live questions?
I want to be just asking you some questions that Western women want to know, but I'm afraid to ask, but I'm not afraid to ask. So I will be asking these questions. And at any time, if you guys want to contribute, want to give your comments, opinion, questions, just don't be shy and drop them in the comment section below. So basically, the first thing I want to know is what do you like about Western women specifically?
So, I just wanted to define that because we had a little confusion the other day. Western women, as in like people of Western culture, right? Women of Western culture.
Exactly. It could be everything here, right? This generally Western women.
Um, what I like about them is that they are a little bit more intellectual because in the Western world, we are allowed to have that a little bit more free intellectual movement compared to, let's say, in Asia, where where we're sort of taught a certain way and everybody shares the same unanimous culture kind of thing. And so I would say that's the first thing. So what that means is she's more of a partner to me than she is she's more of an intellectual partner, companion to me than a woman that just knows her role in society and it's a little bit mundane. I could take her to shopping the same day. I could take her snowboarding. She's open-minded essentially. The type of
Mhm.
education that we're afforded here in the West allows a little bit better companion in that sense. Could you?
Because what is very important, just to let guys know that Xan is Canadian of Chinese origin. So he lived in
Can
a
I get a black
very
coffee, small, please?
yeah,
Sorry.
sure. So he basically lived, don't worry, in a very multi-ethnical,
That's it.
multicultural. So really cannot compare him to a typical, let's say, local Chinese guy. But I think that this perspective is even more interesting because he understands more of a Western country culture since he lives there. So basically, I want to just address one thing because when I lived in China,
Mhm.
and I told guys that I'm from Poland. They were like, "Oh, Holland, we know." And I said, "No, no, no, I'm not from Netherlands. I'm from Poland." So basically, we had this confusion. So my point is, local Chinese or maybe also other local Asians, they don't really the difference between various Western women, and they're very, very different. Women from Eastern Europe, Latina, North America, etc. So I want to just like ask your opinion, your perspective. If you can just like try to categorize them for us, what do you think? Because in terms of relationship, about different type of Western women.
Okay. Let's go with let's start with how about your region first?
Eastern Europe, yeah, I'm from Poland, so let's say some people say Central Europe, some people say Eastern Europe, but let's say Eastern Europe to start.
So Eastern Europe to start. Is that what you said? So
Sure.
I had a, I had a fiance from, I think she was from Poland, and her background was, her grandfather was a Nazi, certified Nazi. So she was like German Polish, I think. And what I found is that there's a natural inclination. Hi, Sean. Hi, how's it going? There's a natural inclination to, to Eastern Europeans. So when it comes to dating, I think it's if you look at the entrance point of dating between an Asian man and a Western woman, uh, Eastern European is the way to start. There's a few reasons for that. One, Eastern European are a little bit more cultured in the sense of classical culture. So, think about where North America derived their culture from. the Renaissance, the music, the classical, and all this kind of stuff. And they also have a strong sense of family values. So in that sense, they value family. They're a little bit more to socialize a little bit differently compared to North American women. So I found that the other thing that's really interesting is because of the way the media has shaped us, with North American culture, there's a lot of, I guess, a common consensus amongst Asian men and people that, sort of belittles the Asian person. I mean, since Bruce Lee kind of thing. And there's a little bit of truth in that. So it makes it a little bit harder for us to have the type of image that women want to, understand us for. Not everybody is the geek, like they portray in the cinema kind of thing. So I think in Eastern Europeans, they have less of this idea. When I was talking to, let's say, Ukrainian girl, there's a Ukrainian young woman that I was talking to, and she didn't have such a notion at all. Like in Eastern, they don't have the stereotype of how Asian people are. The only experience that they have is are Asian people that's in that country, right, Anna? So in that sense, it's a lot easier to meet people who are fresh in their mind about how they feel about one another. And you know what? The great thing about that, about Eastern European women, for the most part, is that let's look at Russians, for example. Geographically, they're very close to where? They're very close to China. They're very close to Kazakhstan, and in these Mongolia, in these regions, they have Asian-looking people, and there's a lot of mixed, white/Asian people that looks really unique and really beautiful and distinct. And so they're sort of used to more exposed to that, and they have a more integrated culture in that sense. And so when it comes to these two cultures, I'm just gonna actually pull over somewhere so I can focus on you a little bit. It's a little bit easier to relate to because Asians are very family oriented, and yeah, I would say that's with Eastern. Would you agree with that, or?
Definitely, I would agree. I even started comparing what we have being myself in MWF relationship. I just started, thinking and analyzing, and I'm like, wow, we have so many things in common. Like, let's say women from Eastern Europe or Central Europe, for that reason, they're really family oriented. Like, there's a lot of family value, and it's very important to get married. Still, even if there's feminism and globalization, everything is changing slowly, but still there's a lot of emphasis on this. And then I just realized that we have a lot of in common with Asian guys, let's say Chinese or Taiwanese. I don't know much about Japanese guys. But the family value, but also the thing that we want to commit, we want to be in a relationship for whole life, like in a marriage. And but whereas in other Western countries, the institution of marriage is not that strong. There's a lot of divorces, and people just say oh, it didn't work out. We change partners and we just go on with our life. Whereas in my culture, I think still there's a lot of it's very important so that it actually works. So I think maybe we get married for different purpose, but the outcome is the same. We want to have family, we want to get married. I think especially in Poland, there are many still religious people. So, religion could be something that pushing them to get married a little bit earlier. But maybe in Asian countries where they're not that religious, it's more of a tradition or practicality of Asian people to also get married, committed, be more goal-oriented and not just changing partner and searching and, kind of wasting time to find the ideal, perfect partner. I just have this impression that Asian guys are pretty fast to get married. What do you think about this?
Pretty fast to get married, is that what you said?
They don't have to wait, they date you for 5, 6, 7 years. In other Western countries, they're still not sure if, this is the women of their life. What do you think about? But what do you think that we're really faster than Western guys?
So I think you made some amazing points there, and I think society has changed a lot. So there's many factors that affect this. I think one is technology with the onset of North America having less of a religious and institutional and family values, because it's shifted a lot. I mean, look at what happened in the States in the 60s and 70s when people started to feel liberated, and they started to say, well, let's do whatever we want. And then the individualism came in, and then the third wave feminism came in. So all that basically told people you can do whatever the fuck you want. And the problem with that is that the people lose sight of actually what it takes to be happy. You need a family institution to be happy. We're social creatures. People who have family, first of all, live longer, right? And so, from us, it's more of a tradition, but it's also more of like, I don't know if it's the same on Eastern Europe, but it's like a bit of economic and financial planning as well. So if you're able to get together with a woman, for example, if at a younger age, and in Europe, I think in Russia and the Slavics, they usually want to get married out in 22 and stuff. Well, there's a few benefits to that. One, you get to see your kids not while you're on crutches.
Right, that's true. Yeah.
It's an amazing concept. I mean, you don't have to roll around. They're rolling in their little Mercedes-Benz little toy cars, and you're rolling in your wheelchair. Like, that's North America for you, because you have to get set first. You don't have to get set first. I don't think so. If you both work hard. The other thing is that, financially, you're able to pull in both, people's income. Let's say if your wife is working. So, there's so much benefit, and also you're able to set your mind to more important things than just finding a relationship. I think in North America, and once you set your mind to having a wife or a husband or a family, then you can have set bigger goals. What do you want to do that gives back to society? What is your self-actualization? What is all these kind of things? I think in Western society, going back to the technology part, is that people see dating or love as kind of like a disposable, like a thing where it's like going to the candy shop. Which candy is the best? Which is the best ice cream? I don't need to try every freaking girl and every ice cream to know which one's the best. Like, if you're intelligent enough and you know what your needs are and you think about it and you put a list together, like I have a stack of 30 things. I don't use on my dating profile. And
you know what? And this is a great point, but I'm sorry, I want to interrupt you here, because I want to just ask, is it true that Asian guys sleep around less in that case, or is just a lie? What do you think
guys,
about?
What around less? Sleep around less?
Sleep around less. Yeah, it's true.
I think it depends on where they are. Let's say if they're from Asia, right? And this is being stereotypical. Every single Asian is different. Like, look at me. I'm North American Asian. I've been here since I was 6 years old, and I haven't had a relationship for like 3-4 years, and in that time I haven't had any, like I haven't been cheating. So it really depends. But Asian from Asia, they're less socialized, so they tend to have less experiences. It's just a matter of thing. If they're in North America and they were well socialized, it depends on what values that they have at home and what values they're taught in schools with other kids and stuff like that. I could see Asian guys that's just as bad as any other types, right? But if they're brought up with some family values, some honor, and they understand, they treat you with a sense of respect and care, I think generally less. But if you look at the statistics, Anna, did you ever see any statistics on this is not being discriminatory, but this is the real stuff. Statistics on STD, sexual transmitted disease.
No, I didn't.
Okay, so they love to do these kind of like statistics, right? Who has the biggest balls? Who has the biggest? So let's bring up some a controversial topic on who's the cleanest people in the world. Asian men, Asian people in general have the least amount of STDs, and
That's interesting.
yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead, I can't hear.
So basically, since we talk about the sexual life, we already talk about STD and all this kind of stuff, but let's keep, the topic, there's a sexual life. So do you think that for an Asian guy, okay, is there any difference in bed with Western women or Asian women? If it is, just tell me about this difference, because I heard that Asian women are more shy, or, they like to do that in the closed turn of light. just give us some spicy details here, please.
I kiss but don't tell. No, just You're asking some personal questions. No, I'm just joking. But like, I think, I don't know. In my experience, I think Asian women are. I had this curse with Asian women. You know, I just I couldn't. It's a private one. It's hilarious though. I couldn't bring an Asian woman to orgasm. I don't think I've ever done one, but
Okay,
for no,
that's going
it's a
very
reality.
lucky.
It's reality. But for you know, for Western women, I have no problem. Like not one single one it has a problem with that. So I don't know. I think it's how they are. They're a little bit more reserved. They're shy, so they're less willing to explore, and they're more, you know, they need a longer time to get into it, sort of thing. Whereas, you know, in the West, you're so used to expressing your body, dancing, all this kind of stuff. You know, they're able to tell you what they want. I mean, if you just, you know, like it could have been just, you know, 2 degrees to south or something like this, and all they needed to do is just tell you, right? And so
Yeah.
I find that it's more. It's more intimate, like sexually, it's more rousing to if it's a person that's Western or educated. I would say, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They're just
You
more
know what?
kinky. They're more open-minded.
Yeah. So, because, yeah, once we talk about being open-minded as a Western woman, I think many Western women have an issue with that because once they go to Asia, they sometimes are treated like trophy, or they are treated like this flirty kind of women that you can sleep with. And I know that many Western women, they have problem obviously with that because maybe they are oriented more into more, they're more family oriented, they want to have long lasting relationship with these Asian guys, but they're afraid they will be treated like this flirty, you know, Western women that you can just sleep with. So do you think that some Asian guys can actually treat Western women like this? Because in their mind, Asian women are more faithful, loyal, for longer relationship, but Western women just for to play with.
I think there should, and it's a great point you brought up because it's a conversation and it's something that you have to have on your mind, you know, what your needs are, right? So I think, I mean, I've heard from Asian guys that yes, they do sort of, you know, like they see Western women as more loose, and their, their, their perceptions are like that. So they will marry an Asian woman, but they will sleep with a white woman, for example. So, you know, it's stereotypes again. So objectification happens to Asians, and then the other way comes around. And so what I think people should do is they should have a conversation about it first, and see where their mind lies. So one of the questions that I ask women, you know, that I'm potentially seeing or want to be interested in is are you, you know, and this is the same for women to guys, do you see yourself fully with me? Like, do you see our little babies together, like cute little Xans or whatever, you know? And if they can't see it fully, and they can't see themselves socially entwined with you biologically, and your kids being back at their grandmother's house and vice versa, then it's not worth it if we're family.
So yeah, so like let's talk about the Asian guy more. If there are Western women that who are interested in being in a relationship with a with an Asian guy, what would you say are the main qualities of an Asian guy?
That would be good for her, or sorry.
Yeah, that you know that it's really good if she wanna like a good committed relationship with an Asian guy. What's like she can expect in general?
Oh, in general, I think, like for example, I can tell you a little bit my friends and myself. In the friends that I've seen, they're very generous, like financially, just like, you know, $2,000 bags or $1,000 meals. Like, but this is the circle too, right? And no, not many other guys are willing to spoil their girlfriends. So Asian guys do really spoil their girlfriends, and they really love them in a way that's like financial, that's caretaking, that's breadwinning kind of thing. Where and also you can expect Asian guys to be more sensitive and more soft in the way that they deal with you. They're not gonna, you know, throw you around and beat you up and stuff like that, as you know, and do this SMM stuff. They're more like they're gonna kiss you in the face, hold your hands. They're more gentle and sweet kind of thing, right? So that, which is what a relationship is supposed to be, and this is how, if you look at K-drama and our culture, this is how we're socialized, right? This is how we're supposed to love a woman. And so that's what you can expect, you know, just a sweeter, more financially stable kind of person, more responsible person, because we're not taught to run away from our families as much. You know, our we my you know, we maybe we didn't come from a culture where it's like, oh, you know what, we're going to find our ideal mate, but we stay with our mate. So most of us have mothers and grandfathers and who are still together. And so when they're with you, you can, kind of not take for granted, but you can kind of have more of an expectation that they're willing to stay with you. And that's a beautiful aspect of being in an Asian men, Western woman relationship, right?
Yeah, and you know what? This just brought something to my mind. Like, in Western culture, especially maybe in North America, guys really wants to like use their life to the fullest for like many years. Traveling the world, enjoying themselves, and they took a lot of time before they settle down, get married. I think actually there is not that much fun loving people in Asian cultures. Do you think like entertainment, you're entertaining yourself and going to this, journey to discover your soul, etc. It's like just not in the Asian culture. So maybe they're just more practical, goal-oriented about committing to relationship. But what do you think is the difference? Why is it this that is just they don't feel that they need so much fun and like self-discovery in life? That's why they just mostly focus on career and family. Why is this happening?
When I was young and I was brought up, the most important thing my parents told me was to have a stable job, to be a professional of some sort. So financial education is huge in Asian culture, because you look at China and how the instability of this country and it's how it's transformed. I mean, only 67 years ago, we were a conquered nation, and we had, other countries in our place, and there was famine, there was lack of food. So financial education was such an important thing to this people that it was very widespread. And so, I think when it comes to Asians, it's not that they don't have fun, but they're not as willing to have fun until they have the resources. And it's a very responsible way of doing it, but they do still have fun. Like they have karaoke, they still go eat out. It's a different kind of a fun. And I think that because of the way the culture is set up, it's more linear. So it's not like the West. The West, what I think, because I was raised in a Romanian family, a Caucasian family, an Asian family. And in the West, our priority is like, let's do everything. I want to go skydiving. I want to this, and I'm gonna have a bucket list that's this long, And that's the beautiful thing about the rest, is that because people are willing to have these open-minded experiences, they have more experiences to tell. They have more depth in certain aspects of their life. And I think the best thing we can do, understanding these two things, is actually be able to combine both. So when I live my life, I try to merge my business with my pictures on Instagram and all that kind of stuff, and I try to combine all that in one. It's a very difficult thing to have it all, but in the West we want it all. And I think in Asia we can learn a little bit about that as well. And I think we really have actually a lot to learn from each other. So the combination of these two cultures, if they talk and communicate with each other, is going to work really, really well, because it gives each other what they don't have.
Yeah. So you know what? I'm just thinking, because guys, I really see that there are a lot of qualities in Asian guys that women that want a committed relationship that they would really appreciate, So for some reasons, like there's so less this there are only few relationship like NWF relationship in comparison to, for example, relationship when you have Asian women with a Western guy, right? So I want to just ask, what's the main issue with dating Western women for Asian guys? What's the problem? Why there is so less relationship of this kind?
So let me give you a little personal insight. With myself, I personally do not prefer to have date a North American woman, and the reason for that is because our culture, my personal belief just doesn't jive. I'm not going to waste my time, money, or love on someone that's gonna wait until they're 35 before they have the kids or whatever. They're a little bit delayed in terms of that aspect. They have to like kind of play around first, experience life first before they can do that. So it's a perception thing. So after experiencing so much of this kind of culture, I don't want to be involved in this kind of stuff. I'd rather get myself a beautiful Eastern European girl, Latina girl, or somewhere else where they have this kind of belief structure, right? I don't want to have to convince somebody to do this kind of thing, to take themselves out of the club, right? So
it will be difficult,
one perception.
right? So you're just choosing something more that statistically has more chance to survive, right? It's more just closer to what you want to achieve as well. So what is your ideal woman, like the perfect ideal type of woman that you can just imagine you would like to date? Because I know you're single, right? So you're still searching, and yeah, just tell me more about this.
Wow. I would say, I always say I offer what I ask in a relationship. You have to. And I think it's, if you want to be fair, that's the way it is. I would like to have a woman that's more sensitive, sweet, a little bit more traditional. It would be great if she, could do the whole career thing and the family thing. But I wouldn't mind to have a woman that wants to raise a few kids and be at home and be a leader in the family, to be a leader as a wife, to be a leader as the education, for this kind of stuff, and more of a woman like that. See. Career is a very important thing. I want to talk to you about that. Is how does our career of a woman affect us, or a career of a man affect us? Well, it's energies, right? If I was a construction worker, my God, I'm going to go home tired. I'm going to be upset because I'm dealing with idiots all day. If I'm a hairdresser, I'm going to be dealing with women who are just want to be beautiful, and our conversation is going to revolve around beauty, and that's it. It's very basic. So what I want my partner to be is somebody who feeds into their mind what I would like to see perpetuated in my family, which is love, higher education, and financial growth. And I want to see somebody that's gonna not cry or back off when we want to progress. Like, I want a woman that pushes me to be a multimillionaire. I want a woman that is able to go to the gym with me and have this gorgeous body that I dream of. I mean, like, these are needs, right? Just be honest. Without money, I can't raise a family. Without a beautiful woman, I can't feel really good about paying for everything. No, I'm just joking. But you know what I mean, right? Like,
Yeah. But it's also like, you are not this kind of guy that search for a woman that will be, sitting at home, just cooking and taking care of kids. If she's ambitious, if she can combine both, yeah, you will be like perfectly fine with that, right? Because this is some girls might be like fearing of that, the guy that, Asian guys might be more traditional in the sense that they want them to be at home. But I actually think that when I lived in Asia for 3 years, in China and then in Taiwan, I actually saw that Asian guys are really like very towards equality, they're like really supporting their women to do the stuff they want. But and they're very often also involved fathers if they have time. Sometimes they work for, they go for business, so it's not possible. But I mean, I just saw that these women just really do whatever they want. It's not like they, in the sense of their career and family, they're very supportive, but they're also like really supported by the husband. So I want to just clear that out, so women don't think that guys are like maybe this macho Japanese guy idea that we have in our mind. So I just want to know your opinion about traditional Asian guys.
It's about traditional Asian guys. Is that what you said?
Yeah, traditional Asian guy, maybe local, because some women actually go to Asia. Not everyone has chance to date Asian American or Asian Canadian, right? So they will be actually dating and marrying local guys. So what do you think about local guys and them being traditional?
I think it's again, it's a conversation that they should have together. I think traditional guys, it depends on what level they're at, right? If they're not in business and they're working a job or something like that, it's much easier to convince him that about this the career path and all this kind of stuff, right? But if he's making millions of dollars, well, his expectation is going to be different, right? As I'm making more money, my expectation is like, honey, could you go to the gym? Because because I want to look great on Instagram. No, I'm just kidding. But like, my point is different. But I think it's a conversation that they should have together, and the way to convince them of the man of being able to do so is to say, hey honey, for me to be able to work actually makes me better companion, and this is how, this, right? And she can actually relate to him. So for me personally, I would love if a woman that was like doing the same business as me or with me in business, it's great because I just feel we get to be together for that whole time, right?
Yeah, sure. I mean, if there's important things, so like no one is being pushed to do something that they don't want to do in relationship. And now I think nowadays it will be very difficult to find, women that just want to be at home because there are so many different things to do in terms of your career. And it's nice to see the woman that is really fulfilled and intelligent. You can talk with her about everything. And I think this is something in Polish women. We even have a name for that. We call it Polish mother, Matka Polka, which is kind of this kind of type of a woman that is very ambitious, has work. Work doesn't have to be that, it doesn't have to be management business. It could be a normal work, but she's still working. But at the same time, she's very serious about being a great mother and great wife. It's just like she want to cook some organic food and make sure that you're healthy, that the baby's healthy, that you have this cozy, nice home when you can come back to and just like feel like at your little nest, I would say. So I think there's something really special in this regard of Polish women, and I only can speak on behalf of them as a Polish woman, right? And of course, there's a lot on their plate. It's nice if the guy could just jump in and help with everything, but at least they just trying to have their own career in life, but at the same time not like forgetting about family and baby and husband, and that is very important. So I think there's this kind of tradition, and it's really hard for me to say here in Canada. I think I don't know even, I'm just living here for a few years, so I'm still learning about people here. I just can really speak about how does it look in Poland and in my country, which I think it's a good situation, although there are women that are being rebellious towards this Polish mother stereotype. They try to maybe not having kids, just focus on career, but I just think that generally there's a huge family value. I want to ask you about other thing, like, do you think that Asian guys are romantic?
I am. I mean, so there's certainly other ones who are.
Yeah, but what does it mean for an Asian guy to be romantic or like seductive? If what we can expect from Asian guys, we know what Latino can do. Like Latino are very good with words, like seducing words, some being romantic, feeling you like beautiful and this. But I'm this kind of girl that I'm like I prefer to see some action rather than words. But some women really like being seduced and flirting. So what you can expect of Asian guys, because sometimes I have the impression that they are shy and reserved, and maybe it's not in their culture to flirt with a woman.
It's not so. It's a different kind of flirting. I don't know exactly how, because I don't really observe how Asian guys or women as much, to be honest with you. But I can tell you that I think they're more of a gift giving culture. They'll give you something, they'll take you out for dinner, they'll buy you something really, really expensive and nice. It's a little bit more in that sense. For me, like I show, like I think when you said something about actions, right? So instead of saying something, like for example, what I did, I took an X to, basically there was an extension to the ocean, and it was a wooden extension, and I had on this very end of this harbor a little table over there, and I basically made her, I think her favorite lamb meal, and I had people to come serve us. There was music there, and it was a surprise anniversary. It was just something like that, There wasn't dance, it wasn't like, but there was candlelight all over the place, and it was a beautiful sunset, and that's how we're more romantic in that sense.
Yeah. So basically, but I don't know if you answered my last question about what's the problem with dating Western women. I didn't grasp that. I didn't catch that one.
Which now specifically?
The one like that there's a problem with dating Western women, and I know that we had some comments. People were asking, maybe it's because it's like the USA like dividing people based on race, and Canada is more liberal. Sorry, more like not that dividing people based on race. So do you think that it's easier to date for the Asian guy dates Western women in Canada rather than USA? Because it's multicultural technique, or there's still some like social division based on race, etc. What do you think?
I think it's I don't know. In my experience, it's um, probably easier in the States. Um, it's because there's a lot more people in the States. Number one, you see a lot more couples in California that are white, stuff like that. Here, it's starting to, but it's kind of when people don't. In Canada, it's very polite, right? So they don't really say, they don't like you. They just don't hate you. It's as simple as that, right?
But they don't tell you that.
What?
No, no, I'm just saying that they don't like you, but they don't tell you that, right? But you can feel
No,
that, no?
yeah, you just know that they're not interested romantically, and it's basically it's the same tone, same culture that we have. It's just in the States that you will be told they're not into like Asians. In Canada, they
Yeah.
will just simply reject you for some other political correct reasons. I think it's tough. It's tough in North America in general, to be honest with you. I mean, like, because your starting point is the perception of a bias, in my opinion. There's so many times I've heard this comment from white women. It's like, oh, I didn't expect you to be like this. I didn't expect you to be. You're so different from all the other. Basically, what they're saying is that you're distinct, you're unique, and all this kind of stuff. And I think there's two parts to this. I think one part is the fact that we do need to have a diversified culture. And so the men in our culture needs to step up. We need to be more diverse. We need to have more experiences, more social experiences. Go dancing class, go to the gym, go, read about philosophy, go learn different classical arts and stuff like that, right? And when you have that kind of universal man, you're able to relate to all different kinds of women. The other thing we need we can do is, to understand that there is a starting bias, and that's been set by a little bit by the media, but also by our people that's living in society as well. So if you have a group of Asians that's very socially from Asia and they're shy and all this kind of stuff, you're going to have this preset in people's mind, and you have to unwind that. And I think one of the best advice I can give the guys is you can start with your social media. You can start with your body, your mind, and experiences. And what I found that's easy for me is that because I have a little bit of an edge on my social media, I don't have to work so hard to build trust. I don't have to work so hard to establish that I'm a full human being and that I have all these great qualities, because it's already there on my Instagram, my Facebook, all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah. So what do you think that Asian guys got wrong while trying to approach women? Is it like maybe they are not taking care of themselves enough? Maybe they just focus on their brain and, career, and they just forget that, it would be nice if they would be like maybe dressing up better or just do some nice hairstyle. No, I don't want to say that this is the thing that we fall in love with guys, because it's very superficial, but maybe this would be something that would help them to be more confident. Because when I talk to the couples, the guys are always saying, the guy's advice is go for it, be more confident, just talk to her. My wife, she never was into Asian guys, but she realized that she got everything in an Asian package she always wanted to get in a guy. So what would be your advice for an Asian guy?
In my observation, I think there's a certain kind of style that North American women are more used to, or whatnot. It's very different than, let's say, K-pop or styles from Asia. I think the first thing that if you want to appeal to a Western woman, you have to, be fluid with their culture, understand where they're coming from. And, Western cultures come from hundreds of years of war, which means that men and survival is important. So when Western women like a guy that's awesome, they like a guy that's strong. Why? Because it's ingrained in their DNA. They've been hundreds of years of war. They need that. And plus, right now, women are able to make money themselves. What edge do you have? You have a physical edge. And so women don't need men for money anymore, but they still need the biological aspect of it. So being a strong man, going to the gym, taking care of your hair, doing, like making sure you cut your nails, clean yourself, floss your teeth, like these things are, it sounds crazy. It sounds so simple, but, not everybody does it. And I'm talking about every type of guy, but some Asian guys don't pay attention. start to see what styles work for you. Like try, I have 20 different styles. Like you can get me in a goth, you can get me a businessman, you can get me in a regular guy with jeans and leather jacket. So I can relate to everybody. And that's my thing about being a universal man, is that you need to upgrade yourself on every single level. And no matter what race you are, you're going to be financially good, you're going to be physically, socially, sexually in a much better position. So you take your time to improve yourself holistically. You will not be denied. You will not be seen as like everybody else. And if we, as a group, all started to do this kind of stuff, we won't have issues like this anymore in 5 years.
Yeah. Wow, I think this is a really, really good advice. It's a very, very good advice for guys just to understand. But also, I would add to this: understand that Western women are very, very different. If you didn't have luck in North America, just try maybe focus on as we said, Eastern European girls or maybe Latina, a different type of women, and they want different things, even in the country, basically. But because last time guys always ask me, where do I find a girl like this? I have no luck. I have no friend that can introduce me girls to. I'm always saying dating online, because then there you can target whatever you want. If you want Eastern woman, because you search for more like family-oriented, or even like American, but just more conservative, right? You can still do that. There's algorithm just choosing for you the best matches. So I don't know, if they just take that seriously, they still think maybe they can meet women just on social media or just like having some luck going outside. But I think, this is something they really should focus on, because it is difficult to find, even if you're not Asian, it's very difficult to find, the love of your life. It's so difficult for everyone. And I think, it really doesn't matter what race or, culture you are from. It is a difficult task. So I'm saying, I'm very serious about this, about online dating. And I'm just not sure why they're not doing or trying enough, because I really don't think I think it's difficult to find otherwise a woman like this, And I don't know what's your opinion about online dating, but I'm like into that. I met my partner on online dating. Many of my friends met that way, and it just worked for them perfectly. And they're like, very happy now. But for some reason, people just don't trust online dating. I have this feeling. I don't know what.
I'm gonna help add to what you said. I think it's amazing point you brought up. Online dating is huge. Like I think I actually moved from myself from meeting people in person, which I do really well too. But online dating is amazing because first of all, you need to start making an AMWS dating group. When are you gonna do that? Tell
I'm going to do that, seriously. We'll always be dating together.
So first, we're waiting for that, okay? Second of all, I think it helps you eliminate so much. Like, for example, I myself love OkCupid, and it's amazing tool because it literally, I answered about 800 questions today. And what it does is it shows you exactly the questions that you ask for yourself and what you want in the other person. So it matches you guys based on that algorithm, and you have a 99% match or 98% match, and then you filter through those people. You don't have to go out there and spend 1 million hours, $1 million to meet the right girl, right? So that's a huge thing. And the second thing.
But I don't know the difference. Like on eHarmony, you cannot even choose the girl. They are sending you matches via email. Is it the same on OkCupid?
No, you can choose the girl that you like on OkCupid based on percentages and matches. So how they used to be able to message everyone, but now it's more like you have to match. They have to like you and you like them in order for you to sort of have a full conversation. But you can still message people that don't like you first, on the like option. So I think it's still a great option. Why? Because listen, you're able to shortcut the entire process. And you don't have to worry so much. So, like for an Asian guy or like a girl that you're not really sure about, meeting people on whatever, maybe you're a little bit fresh to the dating scene. It helps you eliminate all that rejection that you go through. It helps you be honest because people are much more honest online now. Because when they're able to say something without having the burden of emotional responsibility, they can say, "Oh, you know what? You're not really my type," and they're willing to say that. And so it's easier because you know if there's an attraction almost instantaneously between you guys.
Yeah.
And it's a really short message that you can send, and you'll be able to know right away whether they want to talk to you or not. So online dating is the way to go.
That's true, you know. So I see that we have many fans of OkCupid in the commentary. So it actually looks like it chose the right platform. Why I was using eHarmony, I only used it for 2 months, and you know, I love it. Well, it was funny at start. I was so narrow. I put such narrow categories that I basically get no matches, and I'm like, oh, what's wrong with me? But they say, no, you listen. You know, you're like, what? You need to go more broad. Don't be like so demanding. So I just went broad, and you know, it worked. But it's really amazing because I couldn't even see pictures of these guys. Unfortunately, back then I was in Asia and I had Chinese cards, so I couldn't even pay for this service. So if you don't pay, you cannot even see their faces.
Oh wow,
that's weird. But I found a guy. It really works, and it's really awesome because I was created by a psychologist. Which is like more scientific based, and then you know that the contact form has like 100,000 questions about you and about your partner, so it's so detailed, and then based on all the interests, all like things that you're searching for, they are actually finding a match for you. I think it's amazing, and we really need to believe more in science. You know, of course it's intuition, love, it's emotion, but you know at least we need to increase our probability by using the science that we can that we have on the market, right? So I'm like just really into that, and maybe it's because I'm biased because I work in technology for many years, but I'm all into that.
I 100% agree with you. You know, you need to optimize your options, right? So that's by improving yourself, and that's optimizing your selection. We have a limited amount of time. The one thing I do want to sort of share with you guys that I found that's really important is to know one thing, is that you're only looking for one person in the world of 7 billion. That's it. You don't need to have, I wasn't concerned that I wasn't getting a lot of matches. I wasn't getting a lot of interest. And that was the reality. Like I'm not a bad looking guy. I don't, you know, have a bad job or I have my own business or anything like that. But the thing is, I had to realize one thing was very hard. I used to be a model. I used to get a lot of attention. But I started to check that out, and I started to put expectations or some kind of what I'm looking for from a woman and stuff like that. And I got this much interest, literally. After like hundreds of profiles, 1,000, whatever it is, there's only like 1 or 2 people that's interested in talking to me. But all you need is one. So imagine how unique you are, and be patient. You gotta be patient. That's what I have to say.
Yeah, that's something that, you know, patient but also persistent, because I just have impression that Asian guys, they give up too quickly, you know. They just like, oh, I tried that for 1 month and it didn't work, so, you know, something wrong with me, or no, I'm not going to. I'm like, 1 month? Are you joking me? Like, look how much work you need to put into your work, into your career. I'm not saying that you will be searching for 10 years, but at least, you know, that's an important thing. It's not easy, you know, if you want to find a person to be the entire life with, how you can expect like great results after 1 month. So I'm always there telling them, are you joking me? You had like 1 month, you basically like search for someone, and then you're telling me you didn't succeed. It's your fault. Basically, I want to say it's your fault. Put more effort, you know, try like every week for 3 months, and if you want to see results, then come to me and I will say, okay, I'm taking everything back. But if you want, try for at least 3 months, every day or every second day. I guarantee, you know, you will be successful, but they just don't do that.
Wait, hey, Anna, when are we going to start our dating company, huh? When are we going to do this?
I mean, seriously, because it's pissing me off. It's pissing me off. Like, guys, you know, you have so much value in yourself, and you're like really good guys, really amazing guys, you know, and then you just, I don't know, you just like cannot promote yourself. You cannot sell yourself. You know, maybe they just should learn how to sell themselves more. Right?
Yeah, you're right. And you have to, you know, really be patient. I mean, look, the other thing you have to consider too is like effort. Effort, you know, effort and strategy equals, you know, results, right? So imagine you're out on this OkCupid thing. Here's the advantage. I'm going to tell you guys the advantage. You don't have to be the best looking guy, but you do have one advantage. Most guys send dick pics to girls. That's the #1 fear on OkCupid and all these dating sites. If you present yourself as a serious, honest guy with a fun touch, you know, a little bit edge of personality, you're already ahead of the game. And if you write a profile that makes people laugh and you know, are able to like touch people's hearts from your writing, I had to edit my profile over 25 times, and they're all different. Try different algorithms and everything like that, and I saw what it attracted and stuff like that. You gotta look into your relationship as if it was work and more, because you're gonna spend the rest of your life with this person, and you're only willing to put in, you know, first of all, you didn't go to university to learn how to go into a relationship, so you're already at a disadvantage. Second of all, you know, you didn't have hours and hours of practice. So this is your practice, guys. Think of it as fun. Don't take it personally, and don't take it as rejection. This is so much fun. You actually have the time when you're single to be able to like converse and understand different psychologies, and be like a psychologist and have fun with it, you know?
Yeah, that's so true what you said. It's not like you need to be the most handsome, hot guy. You need to, like, guys were saying, well, I don't look like Clooney. I don't like Brad Pitt. Like, thank God you don't look like them, you know? They're like 60 years old now, so just forget about them. You don't have no, you don't. Some women are just, you know, of course, you know, you need to be somehow attractive, but it's subjective for many women. And, you know, women search for, I don't know, intellect, how persistent you are, if you're like considerate person. There are other things, and you know, the interview that I'm sharing every week, women just sometimes mention, yeah, I think he's handsome, but it's not the main thing we are searching in a guy. I mean, it's a good thing, it's a good additional thing, but there's some other things we are searching. So I want to say, like, today I posted an interview about a couple from New York, Chinese guy and American woman, and they have a baby together. And what she said, the most beautiful thing he did for her was that he actually took care of her when she was pregnant. She was giving birth by C-section, so she had many problems afterwards. And the most beautiful thing he did was like how helpful and considerate he was for her, you know? So it's just like this thing that women really appreciate in you guys. And I just don't know why you just don't believe in yourself enough.
So I wanna talk about something like this. Like as somebody that understands look really well and played with this really well. Like I used to be, my hair used to be like this, and I used to be like, you know, like whatever, right? So like, what I'm saying is like I've changed from here to here. Like in essence, what I found is that guys, if you think looks really matters, it doesn't. Look, I've had modeling pictures, all that kind of stuff, and I've had less. Just equally amount of success with women than I did, you know, when I wasn't. It's all about your personality. And here's the thing about looks. The looks will only go into somebody's mind for a certain period of time. If you let your looks sink into somebody's head and you show other qualities that's more important to them in their life, okay, and you analyze what they need. Like, for example, for me, I'm willing to take a girl who's average or even a little bit less than average if she treats me right. There's certain psychological deep needs that I have from a woman. And if she's willing to do something that 99% of the beautiful women are not willing to do, then I'm going to pick that girl.
Yeah. And you know, for me, I don't like, sometimes I'm like, not that I don't like very handsome guys, but it's like, if the guy taking care of himself too much, I'm like a little bit like worried. Maybe I'm too conservative or traditional for that, but I'm like, you know, if he will be spending all this time on himself instead of just like be with me and spending this time with me, you know, I'm just sometimes worried that he might be a little bit of too egoistic or like only concerned about himself. So, you know, I think women are judging too handsome guys like this as well. Maybe not everyone, but honestly, I sometimes had this thought, you know, and also, like, if the guy is very, very handsome, women might be like, okay, you know, he will be a troublemaker, you know, and the other women will be just like trying to hit on him. I don't want to do this trouble for myself. I just like give up, you know. So it's, you know, think about this, like how this is really helpful in your relationship. Some women are really like more practical and more like, do I need this trouble? You know what I mean? So I think honestly, average is better. In sense of looking, of course, the personality has to have this thing that you're really searching for and something really special. But in terms of look, I wouldn't be like so sure it's that important, or it's, you know, so subjective. For me, it's like no.
I feel so discriminated right now. No, I'm just joking.
No, don't be.
I'm kidding.
Don't be.
But here's my
Maybe my opinion is just very weird, but you know.
no. I know what you mean, and you know, for a lot of people, this is the unfortunate thing about being good looking. Because when you're good looking, you know, you do get a lot of attention from both, you know, like men or women, doesn't matter. And the problem is that you get really, really distracted by that, and you have to constantly reinvest into makeup, your hair, all this kind of stuff. Focus on that because this is how you derive your self-esteem, right? And the thing with that is that good-looking people can actually have a really, really upper hand if they would just simply be more down to earth, be more, you know what I mean? Focus more on themselves and other people around them. But the thing is, most of them don't. So this is the advantage as an active person, that you know that most, like for example, I know that if I pick a girlfriend, I'm not going to pick one that's a supermodel on Instagram. Why? Because I don't want to deal with all the dirty men that's around following her. I don't want to deal with her cleavage being shown to the world. This is like my baby's mother. That you know what I mean? So when I look at it that way, you know, I don't want somebody who is going to be super open with their sexuality in that sense. So I think there is a strike of a balance there. You can get somebody that's, you know, gorgeous and have all those things, but it's very like, it gets like, this is what happens. It gets really, really narrow.
Yeah. So anyway, we got comments that education is something really important. Education is also when you have similar education, you're at the basically same level maybe of understanding the world and having similar perspectives. So instead of just focusing on looks, education, well, I'm not saying you need to have exactly the same education. Sometimes you just don't have financial to do that, right? You have different lives, but basically it's good, and it's something that you know, you need to earn. It's difficult, but it's also something that, you know, you will have probably the same friends and, you know, I don't know, outlook on life, and this is something what is very important, I think, for women and for guys as well. Not sure about guys, but for women, obviously, if she has master degrees, she would at least expect that the guy will also have master degrees. So I think women also to get a little bit that they have themselves in terms of education, you know. It's very inspiring to be with someone that you can learn from. Okay, guys, if you don't have any other comments or question, I will be wrapping up, and I'm so happy, you know, we took so much of your time, and I know you're such a busy guy, Xan, so thank you so much for just being here and live streaming with me and going into these topics and helping so much, because I think you actually made plenty of amazing points, and we have many comments that just prove that, you know, that it's a interesting topic and it's very insightful and very super useful. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you so much, Anna. I really appreciate it. I think what you're doing is great for this community, and I think, you know, everyone that's in this community that's a couple, you should, you know, help out and tune in with their work and help Anna spread the word, kind of thing. I think there's just a lot of things, a lot of beautiful things that are available if we just open our minds and explore to it. The other thing I want to add to it is that yeah, I think that's pretty much it. And yeah, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
No, very thank you so much. So guys, I know that people will be watching after this live streaming. Thank you for everyone that could join us. But if you are not able to join, I know that, you know, guys in Asia will be waking up and they will see this live streaming. They will be just watching it afterwards. So if you still have any questions, just ping me or ping Xan. His Instagram profile, you can see it's the Xan He. So just don't be shy, and, you know, just contact us, talk to us, write message, whatever topic you want to write about. And yeah, thank you so much for participating, and hopefully see you next time. Take care, everyone. Have an awesome Sunday and a great week.
Thanks, Anna.
Take care. Thank you.